Hello and welcome to Channel Sport on Sunday. It is today, it is the 18th of December 2002. And it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 days to Christmas. But before Christmas, it is the final of Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup. We thought this day will never come. Great expectations. Forget the expectations first. There were some misgivings, even from people like us here. How are you going to hold a World Cup during the winter? Super heat? How are we going to survive that? Are you going to truncate the calendar? This calendar has been going on since 1896 till now. And they said, look, let England go on break. The league go on break. It has never happened. Probably it would have happened during 1939 to 1945. We have talked about it during the World War, but then I don't think it happened elsewhere. That was something really, really external, coming there to come and, truncate, a calendar that is precast, that is sealed, that is, I mean, how do you have the sign, or how do I say, of permanence, that this is how it is. It is predictable. You go out there and start in August, and by May it is all over. But here we are. We used to laugh at other leagues to see the German league, the other ones go on winter break. But this time around, it is the World Cup break. The excitement. I think what happened within the pitch, kind of compensated or overshadowed other things. A lot of political issues, women's rights, the LGBTs, a lot of them coming in to say, well, how do we get things? Our focus should be on it. But in not talking about them, we've also been able to talk about it. There was the issue of alcohol or no alcohol. Of course, we know that, yes, what your personal consumption, like your personal. You're just like you said, don't smoke in public places. If you want to smoke, find somewhere to go and do that. You don't drink in public places. You want to drink, go somewhere to go and do that. I mean, these are people's cultures. So we respect all that. But I think at the end of the day, football is the winner. But today, it is not about, or is it about? Can I get myself right here? I'm trying to see if I want to place it, is it Messi or Mbappe? Or is it Argentina or France? Both have 2 World Cups. When I mean both, I don't mean the players. One player has, the other doesn't. One is following the path of Pelé, the greatest for now. Teenager goes to the World Cup in 1958 and replicate it, winning it in 58 and replicate that success in Chile in 1962. Of course, there was that 1966 where he was injured in England. And himself and Brazil, it was then that without Pelé being around, can Brazil win the World Cup? He came back in 1917 in Mexico, and that is, people say, arguably one of the greatest team ever to win the World Cup. And he sealed his immortality right there at the Azteca Stadium. And we thought, probably, this is it. He retired. And from 1970 to 1994, Brazil didn't see the World Cup. And said, look, at a point, Pelé said, just give me the president jersey. Let me just wear it, and Pelé, and we will win. But Romário de Faria said, no, it was my turn. Emilio Con. And they went over there, and they won it in 1994. 98, they were in the final. 2002, they were there. Brazil, the greatest team to win the World Cup 5 times, but then none at home level. Twice they hosted, and twice they were humiliated by Uruguay and the other one by Germany. I don't think Brazil want to host the World Cup again. Qatar has hosted now. The experience, we don't want to go through, whether on the pitch or outside the pitch experience. But today it is not about them. It is about Mbappe, and it is about Messi. His road to greatness. He has won everything winnable, both as a team player and individual. But then, from the national team, they said he has never won. Against all odds, the Copa America came home. Will the World Cup follow suit? I want to talk less today, because today we are going to open the lines early. We are going to be joined by the Godfathers, and the great team is in the house. More are coming. We're going to have a party. It may be chaotic, but then it has to be a finesse in chaotism. Let me ask my guys in the house. They are all putting on blues. But thank God, the La Blue and La Blue are La Blues. Because both the French and the Argentines go on blue. So let it be a blue day. Whoever wins What trains is blue? Let me start with Okpe. Okpe, but this your blue is French Football Federation blue. With their logo and everything right there. Have you picked a side?
President Emmanuel Macron said, our compatriot needs simple and pure joy, and only sports and football in particular can provide that. So that will be the story in Paris today.
Okay, that will be the story in Paris.
And after today, they need to, if either Argentina or France will retire their jerseys because they both have 2 stars. So after today,
there will be no star. Are you having the second star?
So maybe this will be the last time I'll be putting on the jersey.
I hope you wear it, but I think it looks good on you.
No, it becomes 3 stars. It becomes 3 stars. It becomes 3 stars.
He's the Catalan, but his heart is not in Catalonia. His heart is somewhere else. Yeah. Theo, are you for Mbappe or Messi?
Ken, good afternoon, guys. I don't know what the president of Argentina said. But what I know is that it's his turn. Lionel Messi losing back-to-back finals. And that man was tagged as the greatest bottler of all time.
The nearly man.
Exactly. His ability to do it at club side, club level, and then all of a sudden choking when it mattered most. People seem to forget that it's a team sport, and you really cannot do it all by yourself. It's not just you on the pitch. You have 10 other warriors that are supposed to go to battle with you. And since then, he's not only gone on to defeat the champions of South America, and then in the finalissimo against Italy, the champions of Europe, also winning that tournament as well. He's now going to be facing the world champions today, led by Kylian Mbappe, and of course. But you can see that whilst France might look like the clear favorite, this Argentine team, against all odds, after that first game, they've grown into the competition. And Lionel Messi has carried that team on his back. I'm very sure if they play for him today, Argentina will win the World Cup.
If they play for him, not him playing for the team, we still expect the Godfathers to join this show. But then we're doing what we said we are going to do. If my director will allow, we are going to open the lines as early as possible. It is going to be a fans FIFA final today. So we want the fans to let us know how you feel. But today, there is a rule. When the lines come, when we pick your call, you have just 60 seconds to tell us what you want to say. No rigba rolling, whatever. You want to talk about Morocco. You want to talk about Guigui. You want to talk about, the run of the Africans to the semi-finals for the very first time. In 1990, Cameroon were almost there. They were there. England said no. That was in 1990. And it took some time before in 2002, Senegal said, okay, we got into the quarterfinals, and then they got that run. But then they couldn't go. It was, it was Turkey. They're not going to the semifinals. And then Ghana on African soil, 2010. So painful. We had 6 teams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only one progressed out of the group stage, and that was Ghana. And they moved from there to the round of 16 to the round of 8, and then they were in the quarterfinals, and they were a penalty away before they were Suarezed. But this time, Morocco says no. We are the Moroccans. Whatever is going to be, is going to be. Let me go back to Okpe. Okpe, the Moroccan run. It doesn't look Cinderella. You play Croatia, who are the last World Cup finalists, and then who also now played to the semi-final. They played the draw. They caught Belgium and showed them the way. They went. Then we thought it is impossible, and then they divided Portugal. They said no, who is going to do that? And they got Spain. They beat Spain to beat Portugal, to beat Belgium. Spain, Portugal, Belgium, and draw with Croatia. Guy. Is that a run of luck?
Definitely not. Definitely not. The only team, or the 2 teams the Moroccans played against without Moroccan-born players, or the country Moroccan descent,
yes.
where they had the Canadian-born player. The only 2 teams were just Croatia and Portugal. All the other countries, we had Moroccan players born in those countries. Having said that, this Moroccan team, we have like 3 players from the King Hassan Academy. that was launched with about $25 million. And recall last week we were talking about the academy experience, the Clairefontaine experience in France in 1988 that got them the trophy in 98. After the French team missed 2 World Cups, because after the exploit in 86, they missed 1990, 94. So they came back 98. And the English thought, look, if the French could do it in 10 years, let's also do ours. They also opened their King George's Park Academy 2012. 10 years, they got to Euro final, they got to quarter-final of the World Cup. Their women team became European champions. Their age-grade team became global FIFA Under-17, 21 champions. So these things are actually working. Now, when you have this ingredient, you now have a coach who knows how to win. This is someone that is just coming back, getting the victory for Wydad Casablanca. This is someone that has done it for Force Rabat, getting them their league titles in decades. So they had, who was also French-born anyway, so they had a coach who had this winning mentality, not the likes of Lagerback that we got in 2010. So this is like everything worked, all the ingredients came at the right time. The salt was not too much, the spice was not too much. So I think why I'm even happy for this Moroccan delight is because it's not about luck. Yes, luck plays a factor, but we had the foundation and they laid the superstructure on those foundations. So it's not about having bilateral relationship or because they were closer to Qatar, but because they had these things in place and they
you have a way of training these jobs. You know, sometimes you have this comedy, you know, to see us through. It's not about bilateral relationship that you have with Nigeria House with Qatar. You just have to go and prove it. Even if you know you are signing it right there, the Qataris can't even save themselves. So how come it is we, because we have bilateral relationship with Qatar, that we have to go to the World Cup, and then that is it. So it tells us that, you know, that these relationships, FIFA has nothing to do with the relationships. And I tell you, the Godfathers are getting set to join this show. Some of them were coming in from Port Harcourt, and from Germany, and then it's going to be a super show. And then, like I said, we don't mind if we can open the lines now. Let us have a party. We are going to have a party. But then I think the Godfather is not in Qatar. The Godfather is in Port Harcourt. So we shall get to Port Harcourt. All right, Sam is ready, but Sam is it transiting to Qatar? I think Sam is in Port Harcourt. We can see Port Harcourt behind him. So let's meet one of the Godfathers. Today he's not appearing as the king of the South. He's appearing as a Godfather on this show, and I'll tell you guys about the Godfather during as this show goes on. But let's welcome Sammy Virginia, my man from Port Harcourt. Hello, Sammy.
Hi, good afternoon to you, Uncle Ken. And good afternoon, Okwe, and the other gentleman in the studio.
That is Theophilus. That's Theophilus.
Theophilus, a fellow high. I the interesting thing is, the fellow guy that we all know who used to play for Kano Pillars, who used to play for Enyimba, goes by the same name, Theophilus Joel Afello High. And that's another Theophilus Afello High in the studio. So
this one is Theophilus Agbolao. But he's a Catalan. Agbolao, yeah, he's a Catalan. Yes, we imported him from Spain, and then they brought him to Nigeria. So that is why he's here. So if Sammy, anytime you want to have anything that has to do with Catalan, just call him. I tell you this, he has in his fingertips. You don't need to wake him up before he reads the facts and figures to you. But you are in Port Harcourt now. Forget this, what is happening in the studio here. Let's get you on. What are you looking at today? Are you looking at Messi? Are you looking at Mbappe? Or are you looking, let me say, if you are going to look at the Moroccan run, or not just the Moroccan run, but the African run at this World Cup? Sammy, every African team, with African coaches, won at least a match. It has never happened in the history of the World Cup. But there you are. Let's have your take, Sammy.
My take on what? Sorry, can you take that part again? A call came through my device a few moments ago, so I missed out on what you were saying earlier.
I understand that. That's the beauty of the live show. We don't rig it here. It is natural. So I am saying that I don't know where you want to take it from. Do you want to take it from Mbappe, Messi, who takes the World Cup? You want to look at the Moroccan run, or you want to look at the overall picture of the Africans, be led by the African teams, and going there to at least pick a draw? Cameroon did beat Brazil, didn't they? Sammy.
Let me start from Morocco. They've been absolutely fabulous at this World Cup. Yes, their run has come to an end after that third-place playoff against Croatia yesterday. We were thinking it was going to be Luka Modric's last match, but Modric has said, no, it's not my last match. I'm not retiring from international football. But that's a story for another day. Shout out to Morocco. They've done what no African team has ever done before. Got to the semi-finals, and they were just, a goal away from finishing as the third best placed team in the tournament. So that's something that we have to commend. And that's something that every African nation will see as a marker. Unprecedented. It's never happened before. And yes, he may have been born in France, but I'm going to borrow your words now. Nobody should talk down on indigenous coaches anymore, indigenous quote and unquote, because Walid Regragui has shown that an indigenous coach is Moroccan through and through, can actually lead a side to the heights at the very highest level of world football, which is the World Cup, like we saw in Qatar. And then to today's final, wow. It's going to be big. It's going to be big. France looking to become the first side, I think, since, is it Italy, who won it in 1934, 1938. I think another side have done it as well, to win back-to-back World Cup titles. Can they do it? They do have the players. They do have the quality to do it. Now, I was hearing, I don't know if it was Okwe or Theophilus who was saying the Argentine team would have to play for Messi. I have to toe that line.
That is Theo. That is Theo, yeah, it's Theo.
I agree with what Theo said. I'll tell you why. I think the French have got more streetwise players, no disrespect to Argentina, and better individuals compared to Argentina. I'll explain very briefly. The last game that France played at this World Cup, that was against Morocco in the semi-finals. They had 5 starters from the last World Cup final against Croatia in Russia 4 years ago, starting that game against Morocco in the semi-finals. So the French have got players like Hugo Lloris, players of great experience. Olivier Giroud, we don't know if he's going to play or not. We heard he might be an injury doubt, and that Marcos Thuram might come in, but that's something that has to be ratified by Didier Deschamps. But the French have got players who have won the World Cup before, so they know what it takes, and they've got some magical players. Of course, you can't talk about Le Bleu without talking about Kylian Mbappe. So they've got magical players. Now, when you line up the French players side by side with the Argentine players, no disrespect again, but I don't think the Argentines have got players of great quality. I'm not saying the players of Argentina are not of great quality, but when you line them side by side with the French, I think the French might just edge it in terms of the quality of players that they have. But of course, Lionel Messi is in the Argentine team. And for me, look, I've always said this. I'm a Cristiano Ronaldo fan because I love hard work. And I think Ronaldo got to where he is. Don't get me wrong, not like he doesn't have talent, but I think hard work played a great role. But I'll say this any day, anytime. I respect Edson Arantes de Nascimento. I respect Alfredo Di Stefano. I respect Ferenc Puskás. I'm a great scholar of football. But I tell you this, I think Lionel Messi is the greatest footballer who has ever kicked a football in anger. And what better moment than today's World Cup final to act as a crowning glory for Leo Messi. This is going to be his last World Cup final. This is going to be his last World Cup. So, look, I think the stars have to align for him. I think a lot of the neutrals will say, we want to see Leo Messi, lay his hands on the biggest football trophy of them all, which is the FIFA World Cup trophy, and win it, because that might, to a very large extent, crown his, status as probably the greatest footballer of all time. So from a sentimental perspective, if you want to say, I want Leo Messi and Argentina to win the World Cup title this evening.
What is life without sentiment? We are human because we are human because we are sentimental. It is the sentimentality that makes us human. That is why we are not inanimate objects that we will feel, and that is why that is it. So if we say you are being sentimental, yes, I'm being sentimental. I just have to be. That is the only way. That's the only way out. And Sammy, of course, I like where you did correct yourself there to say, look, it's a hard work, because even myself, we said Messi's talent, Ronaldo is hard work. But you see how much work Messi puts on the pitch, and it tells you I'm trying to remember, there is a title of a book that's talent is not all. I think I'm trying to remember the title of that particular book. It has to do with talent. The talent is not everything. Are you getting me? And Ronaldo,
I think I have the title of that book. It says, talent without temperament is tantamount to nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. It lends credence to what you're saying, and I totally agree with you. I talked about Cristiano Ronaldo and the amount of hard work that he put in to get to the level that he got to. He's won several Ballon d'Ors, he's won the European Football Championships, multiple UEFA Champions League titles with Real Madrid, he's won the Premier League title with Man United, won the Champions League with them. I could go on and on. But that doesn't take away the dint of hard work consistently that Lionel Messi puts in, because you cannot get to that stage to win 5
without walking, yeah,
putting in the hard work. And the way modern day football works, you don't just say this man is an out and out striker and his job is just to put the ball in the back of the net. I'm going to use an example of a player who very likely will start today for France. He's the all-time highest goal scorer for France, Olivier Giroud. Olivier Giroud, according to a Moroccan player who he faced in the semi-final, said, look, I had to say to Olivier Giroud, leave me alone, because Olivier Giroud got exact, I think it was Amrabat, the Moroccan player. He spoke to the media after that win by France over Morocco. Remember, Morocco conceded first against an opposition team when they were beaten by France in the semi-finals. And Amrabat stated that one of the key reasons why the French won was because Amrabat, was kept quiet. Didier Deschamps gave very, very strict instructions to Olivier Giroud. And he said to him, look, Giroud, you might be our all-time highest goal scorer. You might be the pin-up boy for the side in terms of getting the goals, but I don't want you to let Amrabat out of your sight for 1 minute. You keep the key man quiet, and then, it affects the effectiveness of the opposition team. So what I'm trying to say here is that Lionel Messi may be a player who gets the goals, gets the glamour things going, but the amount of hard work that Lionel Messi puts in matches off the ball is absolutely phenomenal. So yes, he might be the most talented footballer of all time from my perspective, and I think from the perspective of a lot of others. But hey, you cannot say Lionel Messi doesn't work hard every other day to get to the level that he's gotten to.
Yeah, and that is the thing. But then, like I was trying to say, I was actually trying to refer to the beginning. When I mean the beginning is where we became aware of the player called Cristiano Ronaldo. At Manchester United, where in an off-season friendly, and they were touring, and they got to Portugal. And in Portugal, they were to play Sporting Lisbon, and then they lined up. I think people have been saying that Gary Neville was spared that day because he was not the one who played right fullback. Instead it was John O'Shea who played the right fullback. And there was this young 16, 17-year-old boy. Okay. This young boy who ran John O'Shea ragged, ran the whole team ragged. So when we say Ronaldo doesn't have talent, he has so much. He played so well that after the match, it was the players themselves that tell Ferguson, you must sign this boy. Ferguson wrote it in his autobiography, which I read. So it was coming from him. Say they didn't leave the pitch after they said, go and sign him. That was how Manchester United signed Cristiano Ronaldo. Talented, he was born with talent, but then without hard work, he wouldn't have gotten to where he got into. It is still Channel Sport on Sunday. It is still the World Cup final, and. I tell you, we're going to have a party today. So, my guys are in the house. Okbe is here. Tio is here. The Godfathers. One of them is in Port Harcourt. We're still expecting more Godfathers to join this show. But there is another special Godfather who is joining us right there from Germany. He's the CEO of Result Sports. This guy torments me. He torments me. Today, I have an opportunity to give back to him. Mario Leo. Mario joins us from Germany. Hello, Mario. How are you?
Ken, it's a great pleasure to be on the show, and thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I look forward to all the harassment and all the punishment.
Yes, Mario, I promised you this. I told you, you see, Okay, Mario, I will be soft on this. I will be soft on this. But let me just be sympathetic. I'm not going to talk a secret about Mario. I'm not going to say Mario supports Hamburg, and they've been trying to come to the to the Bundesliga. I know how Mario feels about that. I'm not going to say it. Mario, I have not told the world about the club you support, that they are still struggling to come back. They have a great past because they're just like Manchester United. They have a great past. Hello, Mario. Mario, but let's start with this. Your take on this World Cup. Don't tell me about Germany yet, about their ouster. I don't want to talk about that. But choose your sport. Choose whatever you want to say about this World Cup, and let us go from there.
Oh no, I think it's an amazing World Cup. I mean, I start with Africa. Africa reaching the Final Four. Morocco achieved a milestone which we were anticipating and looking forward to. So it's fantastic to see Africa really showing on the big stage. Morocco did very, very well because obviously, I think what I observed is obviously that the Moroccan players, they play abroad as well. Many of them play in leagues. But what Morocco has achieved is basically that central hub in Morocco itself, where the national team finds exactly the same technology, exactly the same environment, exactly the same great pitches than what they expect from Europe. And this is became like a unit. And obviously with the fantastic coaching, they've achieved to be the fourth best team in the world at the tournament. But overall, I think the tournament also showed that we need number nines. Yeah? Olivier Giroud scoring 4 goals. As the number 9, England's Harry Kane scored a bag full of goals. Germany realized that their big game against Spain to turn it around was based on the number 9. So having strong wings and the number 9 is great, but again also the fastness of the game is just fascinating to see. And the controversy of VAR at the World Cup for me was not as much as I expected, because European leagues have with the VAR. I think just the FIFA showed that it can play a significant value, but obviously there were also a few incidents which were controversy and discussing about.
Okay, Mario is the CEO of Result Sports, and Mario deals on numbers and numbers and numbers. And I know Mario, like I said, Mario is a godfather of sports. So let me take the. You just mentioned Germany from 2010, 2014, going over there to Brazil, massacre the Brazilians. Taking home the trophy. In 2018, we saw them sliding, and then in 2022, Mario, talk to us about this German team. What is not too good about them?
Happy to talk about. Yeah, I think obviously I know in a message previously saying, oh yeah, shoot from the hip, basically on Germany, and you absolutely. Because in your message you were saying that the German machine is running, and I think Germany lost their engine, lost their strength, lost their bumper, because you could see in this World Cup you need a solid defense, and there is an old German saying: "Offense wins you games, defense wins you championships," and I think Germany showed that prime example. Germany's defense was lacking. Germany's defense was poor. The goalkeeping couldn't do anything anymore, because obviously very often those defensive mistakes were unrecognizable. Well, recognizable, yes, but unpredictable and not forced by any means by the audience. Just that the back four was not aligned. We had 2 wings. Basically on the right defense, we had in 3 group matches we had 3 different players. Where the first one, it started with, I can't recall the first one, but the second one obviously was the German youngster, Klostermann. And in the third one, Joshua Kimmich started the game. And then Leon Goretzka got injured in game number 3. And at halftime, Joshua Kimmich went to the front, and we were playing 3 at the defense. So I think the midfield and the offense was fine. Germany's got many more goals than in Russia, showed much more offensive strength than in Russia. So that area has been fixed, but the defense was horrible. Niels Schlotterbeck, Niklas Süle, Joshua Kimmich. We never played the strength of Bayern on that side, because you see Germany, or especially Bayern, Bayern's defense, when you look at the Bayern back four, we have Lucas Hernandez, we have Upamecano, which is French defense. We have Nicolas Pavard, French defender. The French defense on the back line of FC Bayern. Then for Borussia Dortmund, we have Gregor Kobel, a Swiss goalkeeper. And then it sort of started to be a central defense of Germany with Niklas Süle and Nils Schlotterbeck. But you see, they are not consistent on international level. That's why Dortmund never can really rival and challenge FC Bayern in the local domestic Bundesliga, because Niklas Süle and Nils Schlotterbeck are not that consistent. And that's the biggest worry. So our youth development needs to focus on central defending and get central defenders back in, because again, in crucial Bundesliga teams playing on international top level, the central defenders are not German.
I like that. He said we have to work on our central defensive system. By now they have identified the weak link. They have identified their Achilles heels. That it is the defense that send them out of this championship. What should Nigeria be focusing on? Do we have any strength anywhere?
Administration. Ken is basically administration.
Yeah, it is actually.
That is just administration. We can always call up the players and at a point we start saying, okay, we need to get it better here. Okay, we need very good goalkeepers. But again, if you have the French team, most of them are black. So let's assume we have the French team playing for the Super Eagles, we'll still go nowhere.
Okay, today it is the World Cup final. Of course, we analyze it. We can still come back and do a review. So, but let's focus on the final itself today. Let me start with you before, and also, please, can we open the lines? Can guys join us, because this is the party. The party is just starting now. Theo, okay, forget your Catalan background. Let us look at this issue today. Yeah. I mean, who? On paper, and not just on paper, on what we have seen in the past 1 month, which team do you think this team is tilting to? You said something like, if the Argentine players play for Messi, yeah, of course, then let me have your take on the final. What should we expect at this final?
Okay, Ken, you have to understand this. Argentina played France, yeah, in 2018. France considered, I think, 4 goals?
No, 3 goals. So it was 4-3.
No, I'm talking about the entire duration of the company. I think 4 or 5 goals. Argentina, scored 3 against France. Now, it's not that they don't know how. They won't be able to give France a problem. But like Sam...
They didn't give France any problem.
No, to a large way... Okay, I think we have...
Okay, let's... 60 seconds. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I really appreciate Tokwe today, the way he give you the answer.
Okay. Thank you.
Because even if you have France, we won't win even we won't reach anywhere, because we have bad aspiration in this. Like today, I believe, by the grace of God, I support France.
You support France?
Even if Ken don't support France,
I forget who I support. You support France. Thank you.
Plan for it.
All right, yes.
Okay. You tell me the place you want to celebrate. I want to come and meet you.
Don't come and celebrate with me. I don't want. Don't come and celebrate with me. You are supporting France. Thank you. Thank you. Let's get on that caller. 60 seconds. Your time is up.
So, no, it's not that they couldn't put it in the back of it. I remember in that game, I said they didn't give them any problem. Argentina scored first. Hold on. Okay. Argentina scored first, but it just became a Kylian Mbappe party afterwards, and it changed the game around. Now, we've only seen this boy grow in leaps and bounds. And Sammy rightly put it, if you want to weigh them on paper against each other, Argentina doesn't have a bad squad. But against the French side, these guys are world beaters, for crying out loud. Look at where they play. Argentina has a player that has 4 goals in the tournament. Talking about Julian Alvarez. Yeah. Alvarez wasn't even supposed to be a starter at this World Cup. It was Lautaro Martinez was favored because he doesn't even start for his national team. It happens, but he doesn't even start for his club side. Okay. Erling Haaland starts ahead of him. But he came into the tournament and he was able to forge a bond with Lionel Messi. See, every team has a star. And if you can play to that person's strength, obviously you guys would actually go far. But like Coley put it, you have to have a very tight defense. Morocco, up until they played the game against France, had not been conceding goals. And yes, in as much as if they had been able to put the ball in the back of the net, I thought they would have been able to give France even more problem because they seem to they were able to create chances on the day. It showed me that yes, even France is beatable. Okay. But if you're looking at today, Ken.
Let's take Monday. Hello, Monday.
He's calling from Lagos.
Monday, how are you?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Monday.
Good afternoon. I'm coming from Ife.
Okay.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
All right, go on. Go on.
I support Argentina. I like the way they play. I support them. I don't want France to carry it again.
You support Argentina? Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
You don't want France to carry it?
All
right.
Exactly.
Okay,
yes.
we're taking the tally. We shall read it up at the end of the day. Thank you, Monday. Today is Sunday, but you are one day ahead of us. Okay, let's go to Port Harcourt. Sammy, where is Sammy? Okay, is Sammy there? All right. Sammy. All right, Sammy is in Port Harcourt. They exported you to Germany, but I know you're in Port Harcourt. Yourself and Mario with alternating. So let's focus on today. Who do you give it to?
I have to say France.
Okay. All right, no, I don't want to push you on that. I want you to give us your. I mean, like you said, let's look at the strengths and weaknesses of both teams, and probably just talk on the final. Later, we'll talk about who is going to win it.
Okay, I'll just borrow a little from what Mario said earlier.
Yeah.
And I also talked about it earlier. And Agbon Lahore, Theophilus talked about it earlier. That if you line up the French players man for man with the Argentines will pale into insignificance. Maybe insignificance a bit too strong. But he talked about the strong spine in defense, Mario, of the French national team. Dioto Upamecano, Hernandez and Benjamin Pavard. These are all Bayern München players, and these are all starters for Le Bleu. And then you talk about Ousmane Dembele, who's going to be starting on the right-hand side of an advanced midfield position for France, and of course Antoine Griezmann, who's been, for me, one of the stars, if not the star of this World Cup. And Kylian Mbappe is going to be playing from the left-hand side. He's the most expensive footballer in the world. It's not just all about money. We all know what Kylian Mbappe is about.
So just hold it there. Hold it there, Sammy. Hold it, Sammy. Let's take a call from Apala. Hello. Is that Bata? Who is it? Akbata, how are you? Hello, Akbata. I think okay, let's move on. Akbata, you can call back. Sammy, sorry, go on. Just go on.
Not a problem. Yeah. Not a problem. And then I was saying up top, you have Olivier Giroud. When you understand how storied France are as a national team, they've had players like Michel Platini, Zinedine Zidane, Thierry Henry. Nobody dead or alive has scored more goals than Olivier Giroud. So that tells you how strong they are. The man who's going to captain the team today, Hugo Lloris, is the captain of Tottenham Hotspur in a side where you've got Harry Kane.
Where he denied Kane.
Exactly. It also the French, I think they have the edge in terms of the individuals. They still talked about Julian Alvarez, who's not even a starter for Manchester City. He's playing because the Inter Milan man, Lautaro Martinez, has not really found his bearing at this World Cup final. So you have to say, yes, Argentina have got a great team, but Lionel Messi is undisputably the star talent in the Argentina national team. So it's going to be a very important, but then take nothing away from Argentina. They may not have the sort of players that France have, if you take away Lionel Messi from the equation, but they're a very good team. Remember, they lost their first game in this World Cup against Saudi Arabia. I remember Bobby Robson famously said after the 1986 World Cup in Mexico, he was asked about the rules of not just the World Cup, but of major tournaments. And he said, rule number 1, win your first match. Rule number 2, win your first match. That tells you how important it is to win your first match, and it doesn't happen often. Yeah, I know Argentina has done it in the past. In 1990, they lost their opening game to Cameroon, went on to reach the finals where they were famously or infamously beaten by the West Germans. But Argentina have done well to get to the final, and I think they've improved steadily, progressively as a unit with each passing game. They were absolutely fantastic against Croatia in the semi-finals. A side that knocked out the pre-tournament favorites Brazil quite astonishingly in the quarterfinals. So Argentina will go into this game with a lot of confidence, but the French, I think, have the edge. For me, they've won it before, they've got the players, they are streetwise, but then from a sentimental perspective, I use that again. I wish Argentina would win it, for the sake of Lionel Messi.
Okay, let's see if Mohammed supports what you are taking. We are going to Niger State now. We can have Mohammed there. Hello, Mohammed. Mohammed, how are you?
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm watching your program.
Thank you.
That's very bad.
So who takes it, Argentina or France?
Because I've been wanting and it's not for me to carry this stuff for long. So I look at this to carry.
You've been wanting them to carry it for long.
Yes. Because of Lionel Messi.
Because Lionel Messi. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Mohammed said.
So I'm very sure they will.
Okay. So Mohammed says he has been. I mean, he wants this man to win it for long. So let us go to Germany and meet Mario. Mario is there. Mario, you had everybody. You know, I'm not putting anybody on the spot today. Like I said, I called a truce with you before this show started. So I won't break my words. But give us your take on the finals. Everyone looking at it. Are we looking at Mbappe, or is it the Messi effect or the Mbappe effect or the support cast? Like the draw pointed out, the most underrated player in the world has been Olivier Giroud, top scorer in history of France. But when you mention Zidane, when you mention Henri Thierry, when you mention Michel Platini, when you mention, you don't mention, I mean, Giroud's name is not there. But when you bring out the stats, the man is #1 on the scorers chart. In the last World Cup, he didn't score a goal, but the coach used him, Didier Deschamps used him throughout. So, playing or not playing, you just talked about that you said that he did a mark. He went to mark Amrabat. Yeah. You understand? So that for his team, he sacrifices for his team to get victory. But let's let Mario Leo, let us know the Super Mario. What is your take on the final?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I got really concerned, Ken, when suddenly France was talking about bringing Qatar back. I was shocked because obviously everybody who played football knows how important the dressing room is and how important the dressing room spirit is. And suddenly the team achieved it. There are 6 games, the team achieved it. Got united, got the aspiration, got the determination in the dressing room, got it organized. Players, I mean, all of the French team, as Semi was already saying, I mean, they can bring from the bench quality, and this quality plays in the top European leagues or top football leagues around the world. And they stand back with their personality. That's what we always sort of question with Cristiano Ronaldo, because he will kind of destroy that dressing room spirit. And I think that's the strength of France. And now disturbing that by bringing Karim Benzema back into the squad and probably let him start, obviously will increase the single chance on paper that France will win the World Cup. But obviously it will completely destroy the hierarchy and the unity in the dressing room. That's why giving credit to Olivier Giroud is something very, very important, because he consistently delivers when he's got the chance. Who's going to win today? Unfortunately, this time I can't fight back on Semi, because I think really it's going to be France because of the quality. Because you see, France can substitute Kylian Mbappe, because Didier Deschamps know exactly that if Kylian Mbappe doesn't play, he probably defensively he will be less fearable, because Kylian Mbappe doesn't work backwards. So he will even strengthen from a defensive side his squad, his team. But an Argentine team without Lionel Messi is not Argentina. It's exactly what saying. There's so much dependency. I mean, just look at that goal from Alvarez where the dead ball coming in, no look pass. The player can do that. That's Kylian. That's Lionel Messi's strength. So the Argentine team depends too much for me on Lionel Messi, and he's given everything. I mean, probably his preparation, his life, his determination, his injuries, his dopamine, his adrenaline to be ready for the World Cup, and he proves to the world that he is ready to gain it. And sentimental-wise, I'm again with Semi. I would love Lionel Messi crown on, because then he will be remembered forever, ever in the next 4, 5, 6 generation.
Okay.
But unfortunately, France is just a bit too strong.
Okay.
Yeah, can I say something in 30 seconds, please?
Just hold on. We have Muiwa online. We'll come to you. Hello, Muiwa. Muiwa, how are you?
Thank you very much. I'm very great today.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for the fantastic work you are doing in the studio.
We thank you. Everybody's here.
Yeah, for today's match, final match, if you talk of the skill and quality of players, we'll give it to France. But on sentimental
grounds.
Definitely. I'm in support of Messi and support of Argentina today. And the match, one goal difference. Yeah. That is
one goal difference.
Which Argentina the best?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Muiwa.
Thank you very much.
Because of Lionel Messi. All right, Muiwa said because of Messi. Mario said because I am not, my head is telling me France, but I don't want to fight Sammy today. Sammy is saying, look, Fran, but it's sentimental. I think, let's go on a short break. When we come back, this house is about the World Cup, and that is what we are doing today. FIFA Qatar 2022, it ends today. 7 days to Christmas. So celebrate your Christmas today. Some people will celebrate Christmas either in Buenos Aires or in Paris. I don't know. But in Lagos, we are waiting to see where this pendulum swings. Channel Sport on Sunday. Stay with us.
هذا بالتقدم مع ضمن او مع طارق او مع سعود ينتهي عموما فريق الهواء منقوله لمطر عبد الله الجوسري الاتحاد الجوازيه في فريق اسيا اللي عرفناه من يوم امس هو من احتل المركز الثالث مطر ينقلها الى سلطان عبد الله الكواري ولكن سلطان
I'm so happy because it's a nice experience in the camels, like handball in a camel. This is a good experience.
هجمه لمنتخب قطر منتخب الهواء يبدا بهجمه منتخب الهواء يروح المستوى متقارب ومباراه مولعه وياخذ الذهبيه والدرع او يذهبون الى ركلات الترجيح خارج الملعب الامور منتخب الهواء علي الدوسري الى المرض الى سعود جول هدف التعادل
Happy, like it is our first time with this game, and it's a nice game. Like.
يحاول يسدد او يشوف إذا تبدأ الهجمة الأخرى لمصلحة منتخب
Because you need to control yourself and control the ball, and it's hard for the player to give you the ball and to catch it and catch your camel.
والسبب هو تأخر سلطان الاحتفاظ بالكرة بما معلوم بأن من قوانين كرة يد الهجانة
Okay, you're welcome to Channel Sport on Sunday. Back again because the show is moving right onto the home stretch. I'm in a minutes to go. The World Cup starts early, I think 4 p.m. Nigerian time. When is the kickoff? That should be it. Yeah. So in less than 3 hours or so from now, in about 3 hours, the World Cup will kick off, and then in about 2 hours later, by maybe in the next 5 hours, we should have known who the 2022 champion will be. Before I come to my guest, I want to see her because right now we already have the rankings of all the teams in the World Cup this year, how they ended. If my producers are ready, we want to see the top 5. All 32 teams have been ranked, which I'll give you the full ranking probably by next edition. But this week, we want to just give you, these are the top 5 teams in the World Cup now. We don't know who the champion and who the runner-up is going to be. So you can see that place.
Number 3 and number 4 are playing today. The world round number 3, the world round number 4.
But this is the World Cup ranking now. Croatia finished third, Morocco finished fourth, and then the Netherlands finished fifth.
The Netherlands.
Yes, they finished fifth. But then look at the African teams there. The African teams there. You remember Morocco finished fourth, but Senegal finished 10th. Yes. Cameroon 19. That is, we have 3 teams in the top 20 and then Tunisia and Ghana. So at least the least African teams have about 12 teams behind. 8 teams behind. So we are right there. So that is
Tunisia beating the finalist and potential champion.
Yes.
So that is how the African teams finished at the World Cup. You can see that, and Morocco taking us to 4th. Never has an African team got into that particular stage. And I tell you this, I will also told last week that by qualifying to the World Cup, you already picked $9 million is assured, and then you have another 1.5 million, for preparation, which means 11.5 million. And then if you move into the second round, you have 13 million, added 4 million to you. After that one, if you go to the quarterfinals, you have 17 million. And then, but the semifinals, you jump from that 17 straight to 25 million. 25 plus 1.5 at 26.5 million. So Morocco FA has just earned by through and the players, they have just won $26.5 million that goes into the Moroccan economy. I know if we have looked at our bilateral relations very well, that kind of money would have helped our football. 26 million into Nigerian football, $26 million. I tell you this, that would have taken us a long way, in shaping. I think so. Africa needs this. FIFA is trying to see increasing this to 48 teams. Then they are saying all the youth tournaments will be played annually now. They always are playing it every year. I think is it football? Is it for football reasons, or are you saying this is for commercial reasons that FIFA is doing all this?
Yeah, definitely. There has been this complaint in the past that football money, where does it go to? Yeah. Is it for the slushing of the executive or whatever? And that's why we have so much corruption in FIFA. But now, if the money, the revenue that is coming in, you can see where it's going. So it's not only because you don't actually gain more from these developmental competitions. So because it's the World Cup that is actually the only grade for FIFA. So once it comes to developmental football, is a FIFA's way of saying giving back. Igo.
Okay. Hello, I think we have a Igo from Lagos. Hello, Igo. Igo, how are you?
Very well. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm listening to your program.
Thank you.
This match is going very closely. It's going to be a difference between Messi. Messi is going to prove the difference. If he wins the World Cup, both of them have won club competition, trophies, medals. But if Messi is going to win the World Cup today, the difference will be very, very clear. It's possible because France is a solid team. Okay. So I believe France will carry the day. Okay. So that is my take on it.
All right, France. He was his France. He was not being sentimental. He was his, let's go. It's not about his heart. Okay. Let's go. Let's go to Port Harcourt. I meet Sammy. Sammy, are you there?
Yes, I am there.
Sammy, look at the bench. Lionel Scolani, the champ, one of the longest serving coaches in the whole wide world. I mean, here longevity is giving them success. I mean, so how do you think the bench is going to look at this match? How are they going to look at this game? Looking at it. Do you want to look at both sides, or you want to look at it from one of the sides?
Well, I'll look at it holistically from the perspective of the two benches, because Lionel Scaloni is going to select who starts for Argentina and who comes from the bench for them. And it's the same thing that Didier Deschamps will do as well. And of course, when the game is in progress, both men will be looking at it tactically, trying to make alterations and make those decisive calls as the game progresses. So you cannot look at it from just one perspective. You have to look at it from the perspective of the two managers. I'm going to start with Lionel Scaloni. He wasn't first choice to be Argentina manager. But then the first choices weren't available, and so it was a case of when the available is not desirable, the desirable becomes available. And so the Argentina Football Federation went for Lionel Scaloni, and he's built a very, very strong unit. Like we stated earlier, Argentina may not have some of the biggest stars in all of world football. I don't know how many persons believed Argentina was going to get to the final, but that's exactly what they've done under the astute management of Lionel Scaloni. Remember, before they played against Saudi Arabia, they had that lengthy unbeaten run, which was abbreviated by
35 matches, 35 games they went without a loss.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But then Scaloni rallied the troops, great dressing room, that phrase from Mario. The lads came back together and then overcame that early setback to get to the final. So you cannot take that away from Lionel Scaloni. So he's an important manager. He's made big calls all through this tournament, and so far those calls have been absolutely spot on. And then I'm going to flip the coin and talk about Didier Deschamps. He is a huge legend as far as not just French football, but as far as world football is concerned. He's toed the line of greats like Franz Beckenbauer. Franz Beckenbauer will remember in 1974, Mario Leo, my very good friend, our godfather, who know him very well. He won the World Cup with West Germany as a captain. And then in 1986, he led West Germany to the final, where they came up against the immovable object in Argentina. There was no way they were going to win that one because I think it was destined to go to Argentina then. But then 4 years later in Italy, Franz Beckenbauer became the first man in history to lead a national team to World Cup success, first as a captain and then as a manager. And then we'll cast our minds back to 1998. Didier Deschamps led a slew of wonderful players like Lilian Thuram, Zinedine Zidane. You can go on, and they won the World Cup on home soil. Didier Deschamps was a captain then. In 2014, as a manager, Deschamps led the French to the quarterfinals, where they came unstuck against the eventual champions, Germany. I repeat for emphasis, eventual champions, Germany. I know my friend Mario Leo is smiling right now, but then he picked up the pieces, Didier Deschamps. 4 years later, on home soil, he led the French to win the World Cup. So he's become the second man in history after Franz Beckenbauer to win the World Cup as a captain and as a manager. And now he's about to do something absolutely unprecedented. No manager has won the World Cup back-to-back as a coach. Yes, we've seen countries win it. Mario Leo gave me the correction. Brazil in 1958 and 1962 when they won the World Cup back-to-back, and then
Vittorio Pozzo won it. Pozzo won it back-to-back. He won it back-to-back for Italy in 1934 and 1938. Yeah, but because they said the guy was a political things, they kind of underplay that he was close to Mussolini. The fascism then, that is politics. And that, but we talk sport here, we don't talk politics. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, many will talk about Benito Mussolini, fascism, and they say he's an unheralded champion. Vittorio Pozzo, who's a grandmaster.
Vittorio Pozzo, yeah.
Since 1938, it's not happened, and Didier Deschamps is about to do it, to become the second man to win the World Cup back-to-back as a manager. And again, when I said I wanted 30 seconds before you went on that break, I wanted to say to my friend Mario that we are actually on the same side of the fence. Now, the fact that I want to say what I'm about to say now doesn't mean it's going to play out. But this is what I think. I think that by 6 p.m. today, we are all going to be saying congratulations to Le Bleu, the French national team, champions of the 2022 FIFA World Cup Finals. My head actually tells me that the French will be world champions today. But then in football, 1 + 1 isn't always 2. So, my head says it's going to be France. Sentimentally, I'm thinking Argentina. But then it's football. It's not played on paper. It's played on grass.
In football, it's not played on paper. It's played on grass. Mario, you had Sammy. That's another godfather. The godfathers are having their fun here. He's also talked about looking at Lionel Scaloni, and then Didier Deschamps. Actually, another thing to point out is that Argentina is the only team that have 2 Lionels in going to the final. Both the captain, Lionel Messi, and the coach are both Lions. So we have 2 Lions. We have 2 Lions who are leading Argentina to face La Bleu right there. But look at that. Let's look at the numbers, Mario. Winter World Cup. I mean, the viewership, how does it compare with, you know, other World Cup? Has it really captured the imagination that we're expecting? But before you take this, and before you take your answer, please, Mario, let's just take this call coming from Qatar State in Nigeria. Oye.
Yeah.
Oye, how are you? Hello, Yedepo, how are you? Go on. 60 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's hear you.
I'm from Kwara State. Please, I'm picking Argentina to win this cup this afternoon.
You are taking Argentina to win it?
I support Argentina to
win
this FIFA World Cup this year.
Okay.
Argentina.
All right. Oye. All right, Oye is saying Argentina is going to win the World Cup. Thank you, Oye. So let's go back to Mario briefly. Hello, Mario. We're looking at the numbers now. How comparing this World Cup, the Winter World Cup, to the Summer World Cup that we've been having, what has been the difference?
From a viewing perspective, obviously, I mean, the football is just becoming global. Yeah, football is the tournament. I mean, almost as big as the Olympic Games, because in Olympic Games you have sports which are a little bit less interesting, but it's just like when the athletes around the world gather. And that's what previously, I mean, you were saying that we don't talk political, but obviously, I mean, from a European perspective, this World Cup, host country has been very political from many European countries' perspective. So obviously the viewership in Germany, to be honest, Ken, is down by 60%. That was really shocking. Just at the semi, 60% down. And that's not on German performances. The match 3, when Germany played Costa Rica, there was about 40 million people, Germans, watching, and the average usually was about 80, 90 million. But overall, the other group games, and it was the first time that the German TV didn't broadcast all 64 matches on public TV. Only 53, 54 games were broadcasted on public TV. But that's Germany, and that's isolated, and that's actually nothing what we see around the world. Viewership in the US was skyrocketing because the US team reaching the knockout stage. Watch the viewing rates in Africa have been tremendous. The viewing rates around the teams in Canada been outstanding. In Brazil and South America, absolutely outstanding. In Asia, with the success of Japan, absolutely outstanding. So it is probably what FIFA will report after the tournament. It's the most watched World Cup in history, and that's just because of multiple reasons. Obviously, TV broadcast has always been strong since the sort of resurgence and captivity of TV. But what's also strong is obviously the FIFA streaming, the over-the-top streaming, the internet streaming, the visibility, the access of people to the internet has grown significantly over the last 5-6 years. And we're going to see absolutely record numbers on internet viewers post-tournament in that perspective. And that's why I think it's going to be sort of a testament for it. And I think what Europe needs to get used to, there is a Southern Hemisphere. It's what rugby has been developing for the last 20 years. There's a Northern Hemisphere and a Southern Hemisphere, and they can live together. And what Europe needs to learn is obviously that there are 7 matches to the final. There is no group stage at the World Cup anymore because there's no big team, no small team. There are 7 finals, and 3 finals are played in the group stage. And then it's a knockout stage, it's the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the final. Because you need to be mentally at your best, physically at your best. You need to have the best possible match plan against your opponent. And that's what it comes together. And that's what makes it so special, because no football player, either a star like Leo Messi or Neymar or any German national team player, have ever questioned whether the tournament is played in Qatar. Because they always said it happens only every 4 years. And it's bringing together the best 32 teams who qualify for this. So it's a testament of 3-year qualification process to reach the World Cup and then host the World Cup and execute the World Cup and measure yourself or compare yourself with the best players in the world. And that's why it's fantastic to see the global superstars we celebrate in the big football leagues around the world are also playing outstanding at the tournament. And it shows that they are superstars, and rightly named so.
Okay, let me just stay with you, Mario, briefly. Just for let me take for a few seconds for this. You mentioned every 4 years, the stars in the world are looking forward to this. It is not an everyday occurrence. They tried to turn our heads some months back when Wenger and Costa want to start playing the World Cup every 2 years. Do you see that happening? And how do you see the impact on the World Cup itself? On players looking forward to say we have a 4 years. If it become wouldn't it look like an everyday occurrence, or would the commercial aspect of football, make that possible?
I think, Ken, it's two lines. It's a commercial aspect, but also the change of societies. People and societies in Europe, in matured, in sort of really very, very developed markets, North America, Europe, many parts in Asia, they've very developed. And Arsene Wenger, obviously, and FIFA and UEFA have introduced regional competitions, like the Nations League in Europe. And the Nations League is the most hated tournament by the players and by the fans, because obviously you play friendlies and you just win a title, and this title is rewarded with money. So it's not even like a real trophy which you win. And the young generation, the 20-year-old and younger, they don't like friendly competitive matches. Like we're going back into the Roman area when the gladiators entered the arenas, and it was life or death. There was only two choices. You win, you live. You lose, you die.
You die.
And people around the world and the younger generation don't like friendly matches. So it's a consumer change, or a fan change, a fan shift to competitive matches. And to overcome it, you do it that the World Cup is played every 2 years, and regional championships like AFCON, European Championships, South Continental Ball Championships, South America Championships, they are played in the year in between. So it prevents you that you never have, you never have a friendly match. But what most of these product developers are forgetting is we forget the players. We are already saying they're playing 85, 90 matches, competitive matches throughout the season. Because I question, for example, the German Bundesliga or the English FA. Why is the Carabao Cup still played? On a mission when we know the World Cup is played in winter. Why do we have a Carabao Cup? Why do we have a German Cup? So neglect those cup competitions which were sort of stand in between, and protect the players.
Thank you very much. Mario, this is where, because we are going home now. I really thank you guys, the Godfathers, for joining the show. Let us just take a word from Sammy, and then we'll come to the studio. Hello, Sammy. Your last word on the show for today? Sammy, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Your last word on the show?
I had to change my position for
you are in the studio. You are in the studio.
Yes, I'm actually in the studio. I have to change my position in the studio. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Shout out to Okwe and to Theophilus. Hopefully I'll meet them very shortly when next I'm in Lagos. And to Mario Leo, the Godfathers will converge tomorrow at the usual time.
At the usual spot. All right, thank you, Sammy. That's the Godfather from Port Harcourt, and Mario is the Godfather from Germany. Okay, we are going on the show.
Yeah, never believe in naysayers. If Deschamps believe in Cantona, Colin Waterkar would not have gotten this far. Today will become the 6th coach to play in 2 World Cup finals.
Yes, Croatia were second last time out. Yesterday they were third. France was first last time out. They'll be second today.
And Argentina were 8th last time one night. And this time he said they want to go to first. I tell you, this is where we're going to end this show. But then it is a continuum. Because as we live here, the discussion continues on who is going to be the champion, the FIFA World Cup champion for 2022. It is the 22nd edition of the FIFA World Cup, and whoever takes it is 22 upon 22. I do not know. Is it going to be Mbappe, Messi, Deschamps, Lionel Scaloni? I don't know if it's Ken or Chonogo. Have a wonderful Sunday.